I start telling people about hell, I might just scare them off. Where are you going to scare them off to? Hell number 2? Or are you just going to sit there and let them burn?
This is Chris from Don't Let Them Burn. Welcome to our program. This is the Hollywood Matrix, episode 1. And today we're going to talk about the movie Project Power starring Jamie Foxx. And don't forget, you can find us on dontletthemburn.com. You can find us on all sorts of other social media platforms, DTube, Facebook, Twitter. If you have any questions, you could send us an email to the website and reach out. But like, subscribe, and share so that this information can go out to people that you think would consider it helpful to spread the gospel, let people know what they're watching. This movie is very instrumental in a lot of things going on in our world now and the coming future. So this is my friend Letitia.
How you doing?
And she's seen the movie. And here's one thing I want to tell the audience. This is full of spoilers, okay? So if you don't want to hear spoilers, this is not the show for you. Also, this is coming from a Judeo-Christian standpoint, so if you get easily offended because we're saying something against something you like, deal with it, but this is not the show for you if you're easily offended. Now, as we move on, I just want to tell you a little bit about this movie. It's about a pill that basically gives you powers for 5 minutes. If you think about the movie that came out a while ago about the pill that would make you smart for like a day or however it was, an hour, whatever it was, it's the same concept. I can't remember the name of the movie right now. I should, but sorry. So anyway, it's starring Jamie Foxx, and his name is the Marshal. Right? That's right. And he's searching for his kidnapped daughter because this was a CIA operation. And they would they were basically trying to make super soldiers, and now they're doing experiments in the black community. This is reminiscent of some stuff that went on in the past, like crack and I think it was polio or smallpox or something like that. Something went on in the black community. I can't remember. Sorry, that was important. So they're mixing the sort of a historical narrative in with the sci-fi adaptation of whatever story this comes from, and also, there's a lot of, well, not a lot. There's not a lot of race baiting in this movie, but it's there a little bit, okay? Yeah. And of course, feminism, and we'll get to that in a minute. So, basically, this drug, it's made of animal DNA. And as you know, we just finished a documentary called, well, not us, but Pastor Billy Crone. The documentary, and I'm featured on it, is called Hybrid Super Soldiers and the Coming Genetic Apocalypse. And this came out after we released that documentary. You can find it on getalifemedia.com. And I released a song called Genetic Apocalypse. And you can find that on our YouTube channel, Apple, Google, iTunes, where you find music streaming, okay? So if you're interested, check that out. So the whole thing is that the future of humanity is going towards transhumanism, and you've seen all of this stuff before in your comic books and sci-fi movies, so it's nothing new to our imagination, right? But these things come from places like ancient Greece, the mythologies, some things going back to Nephilim. If you don't know about Nephilim, basically go read Genesis 6 and you'll see that the sons of God had sex with the daughters of men, and they bore giants. They were called Nephilim, fallen ones. There was a whole plethora of information on that on the internet. Be careful where you go, but it's on the internet. Many great researchers have done research on this topic. So if you understand that concept, Jesus also said that it'll be like days of Noah and the days of Lot, before he returns. You go back to Genesis and you go to Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding cities. I believe it was 5 other cities involved in this. There was basically a bunch of depravity, and what the judgment God laid down on this city or these cities is reminiscent of what happened to the Incas and the Mayans and every culture that has been totally sold out to Lucifer, Luciferianism, human sacrifice, debauchery, involving kids in sexual acts, these nations fell. And he gave them time to repent, by the way. But they were just sold out to demonology and all this other stuff. But going back to Sodom and Gomorrah, the Bible states that it was the men, the women, and the children came out and they wanted to have sex with these angels that came to rescue Lot and his family. Right? The children too. Okay? And we'll cover some of those topics later on dealing with what's going on today. But I'm just trying to open your eyes to some historical facts that the movie doesn't cover, but it's important to know some of these historical things so that when we mention transhumanism, Nephilim, animal DNA splicing with humans, that this stuff is going on right now, okay? And it's going to be a part of not the far future, not 50 years from now, not even 20. It's happening right now, okay? So with that, what else do you want to mention about this movie before I take up all the air?
No, you're doing good now. No, just based on what you touched on. It's a drug that hits the black community. It's funny, it's taken off in New Orleans. So, all that happened with the Katrina and everything. So it's pretty much been ran down and everything that they've been hit with. So it's, and all the other stuff that goes on there. Yeah. Another topic. But it's just interesting how they are using this drug and they are affecting the community. It was released 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
6 weeks after they released it into the community. Total destruction happened.
Oh, yeah.
Bank robbers, murders. You had crime was going up. It was just people robbing banks, and one of the powers you're invisible.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: when you take this pill, you don't know if you're going to survive. It's just like cocaine. If you could take one hit of cocaine and die. Right. It can kill you, or it'll give you a power. You don't know what the power is going to be, but that power is specific for your DNA. So it might be you turn into an ice princess, or a giant,
a fireman, like literally go on fire.
Yeah, pyrotechnic.
Like a flex, like some type of
double jointedness. Exactly. And we'll get to some of those powers in a second with Jamie Foxx's character, the Marshal. But the name of the corporation, or if you will, a secret organization, is Telios, and they're funded by the CIA. As far as I can remember, we just watched it, so I think CIA. Yes, CIA, right? Yes. Okay, and what's interesting, what you'll find is a lot of these movies, they love to use Bible, themes. So the boat that has I call it human trafficking. It's a boat with a lab on it with they're experimenting on different humans and whatever, and it's called Genesis. Genesis, right? Now listen, there's nothing wrong with drawing from history or drawing from mythology, or as long as it's in the right context in my eyes. But it's always something biblical, and to me, sometimes that just comes off as, you're diluting the meaning, to fit the cause of your story. Like a TV series we'll cover soon, which is called Raised by Wolves. Bunch of biblical themes there. But anyway, as we move on, what you'll find out is they're always talking about evolution, right? And evolution is the cornerstone for modern mythology, dealing with the transhuman, the DNA, and all that stuff, because the concept is that we came from, there's more than one concept, so we're going to start with the basic one, is where there was a cosmic rain on some rocks, and we came out of this pool of goo, and then later on mankind came from apes and blah 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 blah, which makes totally no sense. The biblical narrative says that God created everything in 6 days, and man was the last thing to be created. Animals and everything else was created before that, and so we are special in His eyes, and He Lucifer came, the fall of man happened, and spiritual death came in the picture, also physical death. And so Jesus Christ sacrificed his life on the cross for us. He is God. He came in and clothed himself in human flesh and did the ultimate sacrifice because only his blood was perfect. And from there, he resurrected after he died the third day, and there we have salvation, right? But we have these other stories coming from evolution. Here's another one. It's called panspermia, and this is where you see it's very popular on Ancient Aliens and all these weirdo shows where the aliens came and they seeded the planet. And from there, that's how mankind sprouted up from Africa and Europe and all these weird things. So it's a good thing for you to think about when watching these movies, that the narrative pushing towards you, it is programming. It is programming you for a future that is totally antichrist. Go ahead. One of my points about evolution is, I forgot to mention, so I'm injecting this into this review, is that the basis of evolution in these films is to show you that we're going to evolve into gods. We're going to evolve into another type of a species. And to reach this God potential, we have to break the fourth wall through genetics, through transhumanism, through technology, through transferring the consciousness into robots and avatars and holograms. And, they also talk about there's a shifting coming, which we think, or they explain actually, they don't use the term rapture, but they use rapture references. And basically when the shifting happens, it's because there's a certain sect of humanity that can't stand the vibration, so they have to get taken away somewhere else. And in other cases, it's they're taken up in UFOs. So I just wanted to add that on to my point about evolution. And you see this stuff in the X-Men series. If you go back and watch the first X-Men movie, it was talking about this evolutionary step. All right. So that's why evolution is a big theme within our academic circles, within our movies and whatnot, because man has to reach some sort of crescendo, right? We are so-called evolving to be something else.
No, I totally agree. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree.
They'll talk about the trauma-based stuff.
Oh yeah, like the movie Rupture.
Yes. Let's give you
yes.
a glimpse of this poster. This is the poster for Rupture, and I don't know if you want to go first because I got some stuff to say about it.
Well, it's been a minute since I've seen the movie, but I do remember that they would take you and get you to a part in your mind where they would literally bring out the trauma in you. They would torment you. They would torture you to the point of that you would break mentally. Mm-hmm. And so you would probably have like a fragmented personality that you would come, in their terms, to a new awakening. Yeah. So you would become awake, awoken to what is it?
To your potential, because I think, if I remember correctly, this movie was about aliens.
Yes, it was.
And she didn't realize she wasn't from our planet, and they had to put her under extreme trauma, so that her God potential it would come out. Now, the reason why we're bringing this up in the context of this movie is because the pills, when you take it, your body goes through a trauma to bring out that power. Okay. And this is a theme that you see in a lot of superhero movies. Not all, but it's a lot. Even in Black Lightning, his daughter, when she was manifesting her power, she would go into these fits and she'd have to basically summon her chi. Okay, all this weird stuff, right? And that's all, witchcraft or whatever. But the basic thing is, like I said, it's mixed with animal DNA, and this also reminds us of the movie by Ang Lee called The Hulk. Not the Incredible Hulk, the one before that when he was like almost neon green. In the beginning, the scroll of the movie, you would see that they're mixing animal DNA from all sorts of octopus and all sorts of lizards or whatever to inject his son with it, and then later on he became the Hulk. Okay, so that's not the original story. So they changed it for that film, but it's the whole thing. The theme of genetic manipulation has been going on so long we're numb to it, and we don't realize. If you do a cursory, you don't even, listen. If you don't get the documentary, go online, go on YouTube, and see how much of this stuff is going on with CRISPR technology. It's a reality. But what Hollywood does is they want to entertain you, and they want your money, right? So with Netflix, they're getting millions and millions and millions of dollars to put out these films, and you have all sorts of ideas coming from left and right, from socialism to whatever, right? All these ideas. And so I'll put it like this. When people make a product, if they don't have a necessarily an agenda, they're still going to put their heart into it. If I make a song, I'm putting my heart into it. I'm putting what I believe into it. I can't do something fake, but you'll know I'm not giving you the real, right? So they're putting their heart into it. They're going to bring all these stories together to entertain you, to detain you for an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, and something gets in you. You might not think it's affecting you, but it always does. You just don't realize it. It's like music. Music affects every part of your brain, and you don't have control where it goes in, how it comes out. Okay, so with the television and the silver screen and even video games, you have control to turn it on or turn it off. And we're not here to tell you what to watch, when to watch it or how to watch it. That's your prerogative. But we're telling you that these themes are not necessarily godly. Most of it is Antichrist, and we'll get into some more stuff in a minute. What's the next thing you want to bring up here?
So we touched on trauma control and.
Okay.
And so we touched on what about the feminism part? So
all right,
yeah,
I'll let you handle that for a second. Go ahead. Feminism.
Yeah, the feminism part. Okay, you got
the young lady who was in the movie.
You can really kind of tell she was a young lady, but she was kind of more on the butch side.
Butch side, yeah.
She
a
wanted
rapper.
to be a rapper. Really wasn't feeling it, in school. The normal story. But automatically you hear one of her raps saying, because she's black and the system's made against them, and then there's another quote in there saying, "Oh yeah, black." And
that Jamie Foxx, after she's, I think
this her little rap.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, she's good" or whatever. This is the quote. He says, "You're young, you're black, you're a woman. The system is designed to swallow you whole."
And what is that? It's another seed to plant in the minds
of young people are going to watch this stuff.
Yes. So you already think you're oppressed because you're black.
Yeah. And, we can have that debate till the sun comes home, but that's not my experience in life. I'm not oppressed. I had every opportunity to make mistakes and to not make mistakes. And guess what? I made a lot of mistakes.
So did I.
And so we have the opportunities to build businesses, to get educated at any time we want to, and it's not all about money. We're not being oppressed, but this whole idea of systematic racism continues to come out in our entertainment.
Yes.
From Lovecraft Country to this movie, Twilight Zone, and all. It's everywhere. It's almost as ubiquitous as the homosexual theme.
Yes.
I tells you how bad it is.
Yes, it's bad.
Right?
It's in everything.
So they're allowing the Marxist ideologies to come out. Now, I'm not saying bad things don't happen to black people, but bad things happen to everyone. And we can find racism in every ethnicity.
Yes.
But we're being reminded all the time about something that happened hundreds of years ago that we didn't go through, and now we have to wave that flag every time we stand up and talk in front of a camera. It's an agenda, and one political party or another is using it to move us along on this progressive road to globalism. And that whole progressive road to globalism comes back to my first thought about transhumanism. This whole thing about the DNA manipulate, it's about the next human. Point blank. There's no way to argue it when you know the facts. If this is the first time you're hearing this stuff, you're gonna be like, oh, you're weird.
We're used to hearing that. It's okay.
But this is a reality. This is what's being talked about in the World Economic Forum, in the United Nations, at Davos, the Bilderberg. These are real things that are going on in your world that maybe some of you have no idea about. And we'll get into technology on another show and all this stuff. But regarding this movie, I just think that it's not a great movie, by the way. So maybe it won't get as much attention as they would like it to have. What's his name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the other cop that's in it.
Gordon-Levitt, yeah, he's the other cop, the detective.
So go ahead.
He's a detective. He also takes the pill power to do his job. He takes it to catch criminals. So his power was his was
bulletproof.
Bulletproof, yeah. His was bulletproof. Mm-hmm. Like Chris said earlier, you have different powers and stuff like that. You don't know what when you take it if you're going to explode or if you're going to become a giant, like you said. So that was interesting.
Well, let's get to near the end of the movie since we're wrapping it up now. Jamie Foxx's character.
Okay, yeah.
We have him. He found his daughter. Okay, spoiler alert. We told you.
Sorry.
Right?
My bad.
And most of the antagonists in the movie are already dead. Okay, yes. And so he has to get rid of the last group of them that are pretty much trying to use his daughter as leverage again.
Yes.
Right. So they didn't know that he had a pill on him borrowed from Joseph Gordon-Levitt's the detective cop, and so. They had him tied up and everything, and he busted out because he took the pill and did all that. But we still didn't know what he could actually do. But before that, he talked to the prison guard about a crab that can do some special things, and it can control heat and all this stuff. And when he lets his natural power loose, it would cause havoc. So now we're at the part on the boat, and you can explain part of that.
I forgot we passed up that Jamie Foxx. His daughter, the reason why they have his daughter because the reason why they have his daughter is because when they did experiment on him when he was in the service, it was in his DNA. So when he laid with his woman, he conceived his daughter. Well, his daughter was already naturally in her. Yeah. So that's why they took his daughter from him. Yeah. So she didn't have to take the pill. So that's why they were doing mass production off his daughter. Yeah. That's why they were keeping her captive. They were, she had a slice right there in her throat and in the back where they were, I guess, taking samples from her. Mm-hmm. So I think, we totally left that out. Yeah. So it was already in his DNA. He was a special brand to this power pill. Okay. Yeah. So he passed it on to his daughter. Yeah. Which his daughter was the walking power pill, as you could say. So
her. It's like Noah. Yeah. She had that DNA that was pure for them.
Yes.
Noah's DNA was pure for humanity. So after everybody got wiped out, it was him and 7 other people on the boat.
Oh, very good example.
Right? Okay. So you've seen this theme in some other movies too. I can't remember all of them right now, but it's been there before. Mm-hmm. So they kind of borrowed themes from other movies and made this story, but so she is. I can't remember the clinical term for what they use her for. She's what the. She was. Well, the guinea pig.
I called it guinea pig. Yeah,
there's another. There's another term, but So okay, we use guinea pig for now. Yeah. And so, they wanted his DNA as well. They would have killed him, but they needed more samples.
Right. What was the goal? They said to be able to have these powers without the pill.
Yes. They said one day you won't even need the pill. This is when they were trying to sell the pill to a drug cartel.
Well, that would be
right. and so listen, it's like say fentanyl comes from China. The virus came from China. China. Right.
China.
Listen.
Okay.
It's the concept of the supplier that can supply the most people, and the CIA / drug lord who is trying to market this thing picks the best source to distribute it. All right. So with fentanyl in China sent that stuff through Mexico and other places, and now it's a big epidemic in America. All right. So just think of it on that level. And so anyway, and cocaine from Colombia and all these other places. So anyway, he's about to escape, and what happens?
He's about to escape, so he takes the pill. He promised himself that he was never going to take the pill because he knew what he became and the whole ordeal with his daughter and everything else. So he takes the pill, and all of a sudden, like Chris says, he started to absorb all this power. It was like gravity-like. He was able to take things and with his hand and just crush it and destroy it.
And intense heat.
Yeah, intense heat. Yes, everything like it's got heat up and just. So his power was witchcraft-like mind control type of.
Yeah. Well, let me explain another way.
Go ahead.
In witchcraft, in Satanism, you have trauma-based mind control where they'll rape you, they'll torture you, we kind of explained this a little bit earlier. These powers that they're trying to make look scientific actually come from the occult. It's like when Hindus bring their religion to America, the first time they tried to bring it as a science. It was rejected. Then later on in the 60s, through the Beatles, it started getting more popular, the yoga and all this stuff. And for those that don't understand, it takes a while to explain this. I'm going to try to make it short. But the witchcraft is not just putting a brew inside of a little pot and all this stuff. No. It's about the words. You say something to get it back, to get something back, or it's about this universal power that lives in everything. You've heard it before in Star Wars. It's called midichlorians, but it's taken from Buddhism, Hinduism stuff. It's called a chi. In other places, it's called a Tao. You have white magic, black magic, right hand path, the left hand path, sigil magic, chaos magic, animal magnetism, reverse animal magnetism. They're all the same concepts that draw on demonic power, right? So we see these films, and as young children or teenagers or even young adults, we say, "Wow, that's awesome! I wish I could do that. I wish I could be like this superhero or that superhero." Yeah. And now imagine. Now see, the thing is that this is not a far-fetched concept regarding a pill that can give you a power. If you ever played Call of Duty, they used I can't remember the name of the pill, but it would be a pill that would give you an enhancement to increase your health. Okay? They actually have stuff like that. So you can go research that for yourself. So the point is they draw from certain aspects of reality, then some concepts from the comic books, and they say, let me amalgamate these concepts into a movie, and now we have Project Power. One of the other things that I forgot to mention is that the daughter of Marshall, she is basically a healer, and she touches people that are hurt or sick or whatever, even animals or whatever, and she could heal them. That's the connotation, right? And so anyway, she basically brings her dad back to life. He exhausted himself by using his power, and you'll see this theme a lot in other superhero films or whatnot, even some of the occult films too, where you expend yourself by using this demonic power or so-called scientific power, and you'll get nosebleeds or some trauma to the brain or what, or you die. This is a theme that you could find in the occult and Satanism and stuff like that, where you use this power. But anyway, they're turned into a scientific, with a scientific spin on this sort of thing. So, you can do your research on this. You don't have to believe me. You could do your research and check it out. And again, it's not a great movie, but I thought that we should at least touch on it to start giving you guys breakdowns for a lot of these movies again, and TV shows actually. It takes a lot of time to get this stuff done. So we just ask you, if you like what you see or hear, that you help us out by sharing or being a patron. The links are below. You choose what you want to do. It's not always about money, but the money will help us get more equipment, get a better studio, help us with our documentary, help us do music videos, all the stuff that we need to do. It takes a lot of time to develop a breakdown for these concepts, and getting into the Bible, searching that out. It's a labor of love, but at the same time, it takes money.
And it's a busy man right here. It's a one-man band, okay?
Oh, boy. But, hey, right now, you're here with me, so it's a two-person project, all right?
Yes, we are. Yes, you're right. Listen, guys, we're going to be coming at you with some more reviews. We're going to do Cuties. Right?
Oh, yeah,
We're gonna be doing
Cuties.
Oh, man.
Don't even start.
I'm just letting you know. You stay tuned for that one. That's going to be good. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring that.
Yeah, stay tuned. So this is Chris from Don't Let Them Burn. This is my friend Letitia. And support our ministry. If you're not a Christian watching, I'm telling you now, the only way out is Jesus Christ. I explained a part of the gospel earlier. We're all born in sin. Jesus Christ came to die for all of our sins. And it's so easy to accept him, but the heart is hard. He can soften your heart. Today, if you're a Christian, remember, spread the gospel and don't let them burn.
If you like our videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get all our frequent updates.